Welcome to the Cyborg Interactive Podcast, where we help give a voice to creators. The people building games, making art, music, literature, pushing technology forward. I'm your host, Adrian Maggio, founder of Cyborg Interactive. Thanks for watching, or listening, depending on where you found us. We're available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you find podcasts. Today, I'm joined by Sean and Travis of Troy Story Games. They have been working on a platformer called Messenger Mouse. And today, we're going to talk about being an indie game developer, building games with friends, and what it's like to try to bring a game to completion. Hope you enjoy it. Troy Story Games. So how did you guys start it? Like, how did you guys come up with the name, the concept?
Well, I came up with the name, I think, right?
It was probably
one
you.
of us. Sean and I know each other from middle school, and then we went to the same high school as well. It was just one big school. And so we went to school in Troy, New York, and so Troy Story just sounds nice, right? Because it's like Toy Story, cool. Troy Story. It rolls off the tongue. So that's really all it. That's where it came from. We went to school in Troy, and it's a fun name.
It just kind of happened.
Yep. And the logo was done by your cousin.
Nope. My friend Steve's wife.
Totally different.
No relation.
Yeah, so she did the logo for us, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, the logo was really nice.
And it's like a Trojan horse. Like, we kind of gave her that prompt. It was like, Troy doesn't have to be like Troy, New York. It could be like, Troy, like the old historical Trojan horse stuff. And she kind of worked with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I like it. I mean, people have asked me, like, where'd you get Cyborg Interactive from? I'm like, it just kind of happened.
You gotta pick something. Yeah. And then I think we got started because it was post-COVID?
It was during COVID.
During COVID.
I reached out to you, actually. We hadn't talked in a while. And it just, I kind of picked up game development during COVID, as most people picked up some hobby during COVID. Like, people were making their breads. That was a big thing. They were the sourdough bread. Yeah. That was like a big thing. My thing was game development. I always wanted to do it. Like, years ago, I made a game using Pygame, and it was fun, but then I kind of forgot about game development and went back to work, and then I'd do something else in game development and forget about it again. Then COVID happened, and it was like, well, there's all these engines out there, and I just heard about Godot, and it's not Unity. And the last time I tried Unity, I just didn't like the interface. So I figured I'll give Godot a try, and I'll check out some tutorials. And I found some great tutorials that were free. I paid for a couple, and I just it's crazy. I had this flow where every day I go to work, and because it was COVID, I didn't have to actually leave. And then work is over, I start a tutorial, and I just got super into it. And I did maybe 1 or 2 game jams, and then it occurred to me, Travis went to school for game design, and I haven't talked to him at all about this. And so I reached out to him hey, do you want to maybe make games with me? And the intention at the time was less about starting a side project business thing and more about just me getting to work with a good game designer and him maybe getting a boost to his portfolio, because kind of in my head I was I might be able to help Travis land a job if he has this portfolio working with me as a developer, and he can show his game design props. But then it kind of snowballed into you weren't super pumped about going and working for some big AAA studio.
As I get older, the less I get excited about that idea.
Yeah. So it's we decided we'll just make games ourselves.
Yeah, and it was fun, and Sean's really good at. I'm a little weaker on the programming side, and that's his strength, and it's we're a great team because I went to school at Champlain College with a game design degree, and I've been playing games my whole life, and I'm still playing games all the time, and so I have a good an eye for what makes something good and fun and stuff. And then Sean and I's sensibilities line up, and we both we're not really story people. We can appreciate a good story, but for a lot of the games we develop, it's more about how they feel to play. And I think Sean and I are pretty like-minded on that preference.
Yeah, I think like we both love Resident Evil 4 more than most of the other Resident Evil games for its action and like gameplay and not its story, you know.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's for sure. I've always been that way, more gameplay. Because for me, it's about like how the games feel to play just on a hand level a lot of the times. You know, that's what I enjoy about games, about like manipulating a character on a screen and doing something cool and like that connection and like how to make that fun. And so I've never been as much of a story person for games. Like, I appreciate it, and I can appreciate how games can tell interesting stories.
Yeah.
But it's not something I typically seek out.
I mean, I like story, but I like it to be told, like you said, in the gameplay, in the game. You know, not like when there's like cutscene after cutscene. I'm just like, can you let me play the game, please?
You're just watching a movie at that point.
Yeah.
It's like.
Well, it makes sense because you want to bring out what's best in the medium, and the medium is good about choices, like decisions. And so when you're watching something for a long time, you're not making any decisions, and then it's like, okay, this, and then in that sense, I start feeling like that story itself would be better suited in a different medium if it's too much like that. You know what I mean? So, nice.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna ask programming, design primarily.
Yep, for sure.
Your team won in college, right?
Oh yeah, we were
the
in
designer.
Some Ubisoft competition for students or something.
Nice.
The way it worked, I think it's pretty similar now still, is Champlain College, the senior year, was you get together with a team and you make a game. And half the year, there's like milestones you have to hit and you can get cut throughout the year. And then halfway through the year is like a big cut. And then all the teams absorb, there was like a draft process. You'd absorb all the people that got cut from their games. And so we were in this competition, but it was great because we could only have 8 people. Because of the competition, which was good because a lot of teams ran into a problem where they would absorb and become like, they would go from like 5 or 6 person teams to like 12 or 13 person teams. And that's tricky because you have to figure out something for everyone to do and rescope your entire game.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, it was a lot easier to just be like, okay, we got 4 extra people. We can it's pretty easy to help slot them in. But yeah, we did really good in that competition. They still run it, I'm pretty sure. I still think Champlain sends students out to it's in Montreal, and it's near like the end of the school year. And yeah, we won for best game design or something, or we won like a few ones. We won some big one. We came second in some other one, and I know we got first for like technology because we had a really good program on that project too. That was called Quibbly Ball. And that was a lot of fun. That was our senior game, and I have the file. I don't know if it's online.
It's on my computer somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know if we have it online anywhere. Yeah, it's fun. It was like a twin stick shooter, but kind of 3D twin stick shooter, like 45-degree angle, and it was kind of like almost like a Smash style game where you play as these little robots called the Quibblies, and they shoot lasers at each other, and every time you hit someone, it pushes them back. And your goal is to like knock them off the level. So it's almost like a projectile-based type Smash Brothers game. And then you could shield and move your shield around, and we had power-ups. There was like 2 sets of augmentations. One was like an active and one was like a passive. But it was cool because they had like body modifications on the robots and stuff. And so it was a lot of fun. I wish I could show it to you. But yeah, so that was our senior project. And we did good in that competition.
Yeah.
And we did good and we never made it into a real, like, you can buy this type game, though, which is kind of sad. But now I think they teach more about how to do that, and they make that more of an expectation at the college. But back then it was like, you make your game, and then everyone's off into the world, and it's hard to get together and be like, let's finish this.
There you go. Now you know how to make a game.
It's like, someone's out working at a company, and your life changes so fast after college, right? Yeah, so it's like hard. Everyone just got lost in the wind.
You don't have a plan. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're still out there doing stuff, though.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, I mean, that's why I reached out to him, like, because I knew he was in school. I had seen Quibbly Ball even before recently. Like I had seen it when you made it because I think you sent it to me
probably.
back in
I'm
college
sure we did
too.
for testing
So like,
and stuff.
yeah, in the back of my head this whole time, it's like Travis makes games. I kind of want to, but I didn't go to school for it.
Yeah. And it's been pretty fun. We've been doing good.
Well, if you can ever like show me a video of it or
Yeah, I mean the next
or a
meetup I'll
playable
bring it
demo
over.
or something, that'd be cool.
Yeah, for sure. I'll bring it to the next CNY Utica Game Dev meetup.
Yeah. I think the next one's going to be like an expo type thing.
I think you're right.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure if that's April or May.
Yeah, it was going to be like an expo day.
So anyone that's listening, don't take that as a gospel because I'm not sure when the next meetup's going to be, but we will have one at some time.
That'll
this
be
year.
good because last year we did our first type of that sort
Yeah.
of thing where you do like go for like a long time with a booth and people come by and play your stuff.
Yeah.
And it was really valuable.
Valuable
Like
feedback,
we've learned
yeah.
a lot from that and just how
We've
to
added features
Yeah.
from that.
and just like
Were you guys at One Upstate? I forgot.
So One Upstate didn't
one that-
happen this year.
No.
The one that got... So we weren't at it before. Like, it was canceled The most recent one was canceled. Before that, we wouldn't have been there.
Okay.
we were at the
We went to the
RIT Game
the
Fest
RIT one.
and then
the
the
Lake George.
Game Expo.
CJ was there. And then the CNY.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
And they're great
Yeah.
because it's like it's fun to watch someone sit there and play your game. You know.
I know. That was amazing. We took the Undersea game
Mm-hmm.
to One Upstate when they had the last one they had.
Mm.
And it was really cool. Like, I walked into it thinking this is we threw this together in a month, and it's playable, but it's nowhere near finished. And there was one person that wanted to buy it. He was like, "How do I buy this game?" I'm like,
Yeah, and it feels so
Not
good as a
ready yet.
creator. It's like, oh, they love it.
Honestly, that was the push for Messenger Mouse, right? Like, because we had done several game jams before Messenger Mouse.
Yep.
But the push for Messenger Mouse was just like the comments that were like, "I'd buy this if it was on Steam. Like, make more levels and sell this." Like those,
Yeah,
we were getting
that's
comments
true.
like that, and it's like like I agree, it's fun to play as well, and it's fun to build. So it's like I have people agreeing with me that I've never met on the other side. So
Yeah.
it's like maybe we could build this into something.
Yeah, that's how that got spun up. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
"Well, let's talk about Messenger Mouse."
Sure.
Okay. So,
How did that whole thing get started? Like,
Messenger Mouse started as a game jam game.
It was the 1 month long.
Yes.
The yearly, it goes November 1st to December 1st.
was
It happens
the
every year.
GitHub Game
And
Jam?
Yes, it's like the GitHub Game Off, I think is what it's called. They host it on itch.io. The game is there, the demo's there.
Yep.
And yeah, we did it the year before, right?
With
And
Under.
With Under.
That might have been one of our first big ones.
Yeah, and that one did well too. That one ranked decently in
Yeah, it did.
user ratings. That was the one where you just dig down, right?
Yeah, it's like an arcade style digging game. We have a link to that. And I learned recently it's almost like that. We found a Game Boy Advance game that's like Driller, something. There's two games in the series. It felt exactly like we were going for with Under.
We didn't do that intentionally. I think
Not
like
intentionally, but it was cool to see.
what was the one that we like when we started Under? You had pointed me at that one where you're falling and shooting downward.
Downwell?
Downwell. Yeah.
Nice.
You had pointed me at that one as like it could be like kind of like this, although you're not falling as fast.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You would know Mario Brothers 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know those sand sections where you pick up the sand and you go down one block?
yeah,
It's almost like that, but you don't have to pick up, hit down,
dig
it
through
digs
it.
through. And so then there's like
There were rocks,
rocks
that
you
could
can't
fall.
break through. There's rocks that fall down.
Okay.
The big design goal was really just how do we stop the player from just digging straight down?
Yes.
Like we need to give some
There
things
were
to
bombs,
avoid.
and there were
Yeah, there
things
were
you had to
bombs.
avoid, and chests that you wanted to go open because you needed points.
Get your
Right.
high score.
Yep.
And there was an end though. It was like
Yes.
you could reach the bottom and win, but
Yep.
it got harder and harder.
Yeah.
And it was perfect. It was a nice little tight experience.
That was our first. That might have been our first like contained. Like it had a beginning, it had an end. You could win, and then after you won, you could toggle endless mode. Like we had like the whole package in this tiny
Yeah,
little.
and that is because of the 1 month jam.
Yes,
we
it's because
we
we had a
find that
month.
we much prefer longer game jams than just the weekend ones, because
especially with just the two of us.
yeah, because we have like to go to work and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Yeah.
It just takes a lot of the pressure off to have to be up and going so hard every day, because you can like work on it in the evenings for a month and get something pretty good.
Yeah.
And then like you were saying, when you have a month, you can make a full package, as opposed to when you have like the one we just did for the Global Game Jam, you have a weekend.
Yeah.
So we actually did make a pretty good package.
We did.
But in general, you're just making like a mechanic and iterating on that.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's fun too. But we prefer like the full package type stuff, because it just feels better, you know?
Yeah, so to bring it back to Messenger Mouse, same game jam the next year, we were like, well, we got to do the game jam again because it was so great for Under, so we'll do it again. And what was the inspiration for... I pushed for 2D because I wanted to keep the scope for art within our skill.
Okay,
so.
well, I do remember this. So, one, we had some limitations. The Game Jam theme was... Secrets.
Yes.
The Game Jam... We also aimed for the 4 optional modifiers, which were cheat codes, 4 colors... Speedrun.
I think it was just 3.
Only 3,
Yeah,
yes.
3.
And so, the idea of us doing that platformer was because it's like we thought of ourselves, okay, as Troy Story Games, we should try to cover a lot of our bases, right? We've never made a platformer, and platformers are such a foundational type of game that we want to make our own platformer, basically.
Yeah.
That was how we came into it. We knew we were going to do a platformer no matter what the modifiers and stuff were.
Yeah, sometimes we go into these things, like, regardless of the theme and regardless, like, we go into them with, like, some idea. Like, I'll text Travis and be like, I really want to make, like, a simulation game or, like, some sort of infinite, like, thing. And that was what inspired...
Micro Wars.
Micro Wars was inspired by Vampire Survivors.
Yes. Yeah, we wanted to make one of those kind of games.
And we did, and that one actually did well too.
That's a fun one.
That was like a 60... that one, the limit on the game jam was the resolution. So we had to go like 64 by 64. So we had like no pixels.
Yeah, so like you're like a little water thing fighting they're literally just like pixel shapes.
Yeah, and
very
they just
abstract.
come at you. And it's just Vampire Survivors at the pixel level, basically.
But it's,
with like a little bit of a story to it.
It's fun for us to like try... to do our versions of stuff.
Yeah,
you know
it was
what I mean?
like I got really into Vampire Survivors for a while, and like I was like, this is so simple. Like, it's this dirt simple concept. You can't even attack. It attacks for you. All you do is move. And it felt good, and it's fun because of the enemies and because of the way they come in waves. And so we were like, let's see if we can take a stab at that. And so we make this initial prototype, and it sucks because like... I was like, okay, so they're just, what are they doing? They're randomly picking a spot off screen and spawning enemies and having them come in. And so I did that. I wrote that up. And it sucks. That's not what they're doing at all. Like, they're doing actual waves, like timed waves of like a fixed number of enemies with certain enemy types. And they're actually like iterating through probably like statically defined waves of enemies. It's not like as random as it feels. And when because when I wrote it using randomness, it's just a constant flow of enemies, but only like one at a time. So it's never hard or fun. And so like they have like a little bit more like secret sauce to the way they're spawning enemies, and the difference in fun and playability is like night and day. Yeah. And it was fun to kind of play around and figure that out.
Okay, so back to Messenger Mouse. Yeah. We had those limitations, and we want to make a platformer, and so we set about it. And a lot of the time, I think the first 2 weeks were probably just making it fun to jump around. Yep. Right? Because that's where you got to start, especially with a platformer.
Mm-hmm. That's the basic mechanic, right?
Yeah.
If it's not fun, like I play a lot of platformers, and like some of them feel like a little too floaty, and everybody has their preference, right? Like some people will really like platformers where they're floaty and
whatever audience
but like
you want to go for too.
But there were things about it that I wanted to feel like really tight, and like you could like a lot of skill expression, but also a lot of like air control is important to me because I don't want to punish you for missing a jump. You should be able to adjust yourself in the air, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and so I do a lot of like the fine tuning on that stuff, and you know, we always come back with Sean. Sean knows how to set everything up on the coding side of things, so we have a good teamwork there.
Yeah, I think I wrote it. I wrote up all the mechanics, all the different ways you could move initially, and then I handed Travis just a single file that just had a list of parameters set to like just integer or float values, and his job for like a day or two was to just play the game and adjust the values until it was quote unquote fun. And it's crazy because like I'll set them to what I think is good and I'll play it and I'll be like, yeah, this is pretty good. And then he'll take it for like 20 minutes and tweak like a thing here and there, and it's like 1,000 times better.
Yeah, I got the feel for these things. But a big part of that was making sure that the big test was like one tile blocks, right? Like how good can you jump on one tile blocks? Because if you need that level of precision. Yeah. If it's like you're floating around or sliding off it too much, then you're going too fast.
I gotta say, my some of my recent experience doing platformer stuff, and that is hard to get right.
It is hard. Yeah,
very hard.
I still don't have it. It doesn't feel like you said. It doesn't. I play it and I go, it's just I don't know what parameters I gotta change, but it does not
little
feel
acceleration
right.
things.
Well, it's also sometimes you have to like accept that the code isn't going to be like as clean as you think it should be, like because the real world operates on physics and that's great, but the video game world operates on a combination of physics and then like hard coded like handle this situation so it feels better.
Yep.
So it's like, for example, like in Messenger Mouse, if you're running and your character's collision box goes off the end of a cliff and you hit jump, you lost your jump. Right? Because if we didn't start with double jump, we added that later. But when you only have one jump, if you're not on the ground, you're in the air. So you can't jump if you don't have double jump. So it feels really bad. You're running, and like your eyes and your like reaction time's not perfect, and you go off the edge of a cliff, and now you can't jump anymore. And that doesn't feel good. So what you do is you add a little timer, which isn't based in reality at all, that says if I left the cliff within this time, I still haven't really left the cliff yet. Let them jump, and that changes everything.
Yeah, and then there's all these little things you can do, right? I don't think So I love Sakurai, Masahiro Sakurai from. Do you know who he is?
No, I don't.
He's the developer of the Kirby series and the Smash Brothers series. He has the most amazing. He's always been like giving back and doing Famitsu columns and stuff, but he did like 2 years ago a YouTube channel, and it's like 200 something videos, and then there's like a definitive end. Like he's like, okay, I'm done because I gotta go do other things.
Like big Kirby Air Riders.
Yeah, he was working on Kirby Air Riders, but he put like $600,000 of his own money into it. He said the whole last video is about making the channel. And so anyway, so he has a lot of educational videos about all sorts of different game dev topics, and one thing he has is about jumping, and it's not something our game does, but it shows like the nuances of how to make something feel good, or it can be deeper than you think, even for just jumping. Because he says, okay, so the way jumping works in Smash Brothers Ultimate is, okay, a normal I think in Messenger Mouse, like you hold the button down, he goes up at a fixed rate. But what you can do, he said, what they do for Smash Brothers is those, like the first few frames of the jump are really fast, and you reach like 75% of your height pretty quick. And then it does like that last bit and go back down. And he said for that game it makes sense because that allows you to avoid attacks on the ground quickly because you go up really quick.
Yeah, your character almost like teleports to 75%, like very quickly jumps. And you'll see it if you play Smash and you jump. The jump is like really fast, and then like the rest of it.
Yep. And so there's just like it doesn't make as much sense for a platformer because you do want that precision. Even at those low levels, but we do tweak jump in the game. It's just we don't do that tweak. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like in our platformer, like if you tap the jump button, you just do a little hop. If you push and hold it, you go a little higher. So it's I mean, you're still tweaking. That's not how physics works.
But it's not as easy as just. It can be a lot harder to make something fun than you would think.
Yes.
There's lots of depth you can add in ways you might not think about it first.
Yeah, don't be afraid to like add stuff to the code that's like, I really have to have like an else condition like right here for this one scenario to make this like if I'm on a single block wide platform then my physics is different, but only in that one scenario. It's like actually you do have to add that kind of stuff, and it sucks. But
I've definitely had some logic that was like if on floor and was touching wall and this and that.
And
then when they hit jump, do this. Otherwise,
yes, exactly. I mean, that's how you make it fun. I mean, you have to have those different like you have to handle those situations players put themselves in all the time that you have to still make fun.
Yeah, and it can be tough because, like, where do you stop, right? How
Yeah.
and that part of that is just comes down to intuition, right? You got to just, if it doesn't, it has to, there is some element of it just has to feel good, and you'll know when it does. You know what I mean?
And a good litmus test for that is like get to a certain point and then go grab someone that's never played it.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Is this fun?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the most important things.
Like, does it work? Are there things that annoy you? You
Yeah.
know?
Our friend Zach.
Which you're going to hear different opinions from different
Yeah.
people, but,
For sure, it's valuable.
Our friend Zach like sat down with our game and played it all the way through, including all 50 challenge
He
levels,
did.
which is something I haven't even done. I can't beat the challenge levels that you made. They are so hard. And they're supposed to be, because like we want to have like 100 of them, and we have 50 right now. And the 50 that we have are like the really hard ones. So like we can pepper those in amongst the challenge levels, and we'll have easier ones that we develop as we go. But like, dude, he sat there for like 2 hours, 3 hours, and he just beat the whole thing. All challenges.
Yeah, I can beat the challenge levels in like 20 minutes, I think. And we have a speed. It saves your times and everything. You can race the ghosts in the game, too.
I was going to say, you guys added a ghost.
Yeah, it makes it... Well, it's like, okay...
Is it like your previous run or whatever?
It's your previous run or your best
You can
run.
set it.
Okay.
Like, so when the feature is complete, it will be very similar to what you would expect from like a Mario Kart. Like you'll be able to see the world records of other people and download and race those, and you'll be able to see your maybe best 3 times.
And then we'll have our own times.
And then the developers' times are in there.
I think we were talking about 2 different developer times too. Like one that's like
one that's reasonable, and then one that's unreasonable.
one that's like our try hard.
Yeah,
times,
like
you
one
know what I mean?
like a developer time that's like I beat it and I didn't die, but it was it
like
was
we were
fine.
talking like okay, well in the normal
yeah.
times we won't use all the shortcuts, right?
Yeah, but in the really try hard times we'll use like the truly fastest path through the level.
Yeah, and like
that
all
we
the
know.
moves and stuff. But yeah,
So-
oh sorry.
Speaking of Messenger Mouse, what's the, like, if you were to describe the game to somebody,
Okay, I would say it's like
a quick pitch.
I call it a fast-paced action platformer, right?
Okay.
Because the game is faster paced compared to a lot of platformers, and you can cover a lot of space. It makes the level design hard sometimes because you have to account for how far you can move. So it's a very fast, and it's a fast-paced precision platformer, I think is what we've actually been calling it.
Yeah.
Because it is very about, because there's a speedrun focus, right? So it is about like moving through the levels skillfully to a degree. We don't punish you if you can't.
Right.
But we want you to have a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
And we want you to try to focus on getting good times. And so there's a lot of little things you'll have to do that, and lots of little tight jumps, and like a lot of we have secret pathways through all the levels, and part of the design of it is like pathways that give you huge shortcuts are also very hard.
Like technically challenging.
Technically challenging.
Like if you like kind of like shortcuts in Mario Kart World, if anybody out there is playing that, like some of them are easy and you just need a mushroom, and some of them are hard because you need to like ride on a rail and then jump on a wall and then bounce off a pole. Like there's like it's kind of like that. Like if it's a huge shortcut, it's going to be technically challenging but masterable.
And there's also like non-shortcuts that are just secret areas with lots of rewards and stuff. So there's like, it's not just about shortcuts, like sometimes I think of it as like snakes and ladders a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there's like little pathways to get higher up quickly and stuff. So
you play as a mouse.
Yep. You play as a mouse. Your goal is to deliver a message to the king.
Okay.
It's like we were inspired by the story of Marathon because we wanted to give a sense of urgency. So what's like a story premise that is inherently urgent, and delivering a message essentially is that, and then it's to save your friends who are being attacked. You're trying to get reinforcements.
Yeah.
So that inherently is kind of a sense of urgency and makes you like, forget what it's called, like a reluctant hero or something, because you're not like the messenger originally. You're just some guy, and everyone else is busy in the helping the ambush. So they just gives you the message.
So it's like, hey, you're our only hope. You got to go do this.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you got that little underdog vibe going on.
Yep.
And so right now it's just you go to the king, but the way we want to structure the game, ideally like final release kind of thing, is there'd be essentially chapters. because right now the problem is if we have this long game, say we would have like 50 levels, we don't want to like necessarily limit how many levels we can make. So we want to have a way to account for as many levels as we want to have. And so say we had like 50 levels, then the narrative starts getting a little bit muddy because you're going 50 levels and you're going to get reinforcements and have to come all the way back. And like your friends are going to be gone by the time you even get there.
You took too long.
So for us, it makes more sense to have like episodic type things. So
like you get to the king and you get the reinforcements and that problem is now solved. And then you go on to chapter 2, which is like a different problem to solve where you have to deliver a message for a different reason or you have to go somewhere else for a different reason.
So like what we've been we don't have anything in the game yet, but what we were thinking about is essentially like, okay, now you've been promoted to the royal messenger and oh no, you got sent out somewhere and it was an intentional distraction and now you realize and have to make it back and save him or something. And then chapter 3 you'll probably be even more important to the story and stuff like that. And that allows us to make DLC. As many levels as we want. We can scope it up as however we want. We can keep telling stories and building the world itself.
It sounds like it'll keep it engaging too for the player.
Exactly. And so that's how it's structured.
Yeah, nice.
And then I mean, I could talk about Messenger Mouse all day.
What do you think was like the hardest system to build?
I guess that's probably a me question.
Probably a Sean question.
Well, design too.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, if you have an answer on the design side, I'll think about what was hardest on the code side.
I would say I don't know, the systems that's been the trickiest is we have a flame timer. That's what it originally was called, right? In the original game, we had a timer that just is always decrementing, and when it reaches 0, I think in the original it's like you can't move and
you have to light the flame.
You have to relight your flame and by spamming the buttons.
No, the original was bonfires. The original was like you're delivering this message, but very Lord of the Rings style. You also have to light these signal fires along the way.
Yeah.
And so you have a torch to light the fires, but like that torch runs out if you're not collecting coins, and so like if it does fully run out, you have to stop and press a bunch of buttons to relight it.
Right. Oh, yeah. And but that's been iterated so much. So originally it was just you died, right?
Yeah. Because I forgot about that.
The whole point,
that was awful.
The whole point of
Your
this
flame went out.
System,
you're dead.
The reason it exists at all in the first place, I was like, Sean, we need a way to make it so players have a sense of urgency, because we don't care if you speed run it, but like I said, we want you to have a sense of I want to be going around this level quickly or relatively, not just standing around, right? We don't want you to like look at the flowers. Well, you can if you want, right? But
you can now because we removed it. But
right.
Yes,
from a design standpoint, it's like we want to give players ways to encourage them to move through the levels quickly, and so the flame timer it gave the coins purpose, right? So you get little flames in the original and just stuff to pick up. And that gives you a reason to move through the levels because you got to keep your timer going. Yep. But first it's like, okay, well, obviously when you died, it was really frustrating, right?
Yeah, that just sucks.
It's like too punishing.
Because it's like you get stuck in a spot. What would happen would be like you'd come across the challenging section and you'd keep dying. And you wouldn't be collecting enough coins in between each death to get the timer up high enough. So then it became super stressful. And if the timer ran out, it put you back to the beginning of the level. Okay. And it just felt, I wanted to I just didn't want to play the game anymore. Yeah. And you know that you made something bad when you piss yourself off.
I mean, it's like, it's just, there's no reason to punish the player that much.
Yeah.
Right.
And because people's time is valuable too, right? You don't want to just waste someone's time back and play the first half of the level again.
Right.
And then, but then that's why we've had to change it from where it was where, okay, first it didn't kill you, then you had to stop and push the buttons really fast, which is like an inherently...
Yeah. And it stayed that way for a while.
Yeah, even at RIT was like that.
Yep.
But it's not fun either, because in that, you're still punishing the player, right, for not doing good enough, essentially. And the worst players, it happens to the most.
Yeah, as we watch people play test the game, it's like the people who... aren't as good at platformers are getting punished for not
That
being
would be
good at
me.
platformers, and that sucks.
And a lot of players who are really new
I
to
would be punished a lot, I think.
yeah, because in a platform, one of the other things we struggle with is there's so many different skill levels, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can have really good players and really bad players, and our game is actually pretty good about that because of the secrets. Some of the secrets, the main path is we can make it easier,
Yep.
but still offer challenge to players who want to do the secret path.
Yep.
But the problem was the worst players, especially really, really like new to platformer players, they're just walking around near the beginning, especially.
Yeah.
And they just keep. It's like, oh, I can't. I gotta.
Yep. Now I gotta, and then they're hitting buttons and they don't understand why because it doesn't explain itself.
Right, because it's just like a
It's
timer
why
at
am
the
I hitting
top.
buttons?
It's like, like why is there a timer going down? What's gonna happen? And that's and then another thing is just it's inherently stressful to have the timer going like that down all the time. We've had to adjust its rate all the time, but the overall thing for it existing is still important, so we still have it in the game. And now I think the current iteration is there's no punishment if you have it at the bottom. You can keep it at the bottom as much as you want, but you're rewarded for keeping it up. And so,
It's a sword now.
yes. And we keep saying, Mario Kart's references aplenty because
Yes.
it's
the same thing as
similar
coins
to
in
Mario
Mario
Kart.
Kart.
Like the closer it is to the top, you get a tiny bit faster. In Mario Kart, there's coins, and you get like 1% faster per coin. Not even. You get like 0.3%
It's a variable
faster.
rate, but yeah.
Yeah, like a little faster each coin you get to encourage you to collect the coins, but it's not like too important.
Right.
But so it does that, but then when you reach the maximum of the meter, you go into like a crazy fast mode, and it's cool, and that's
It's like
been really
noticeably
successful.
faster, and people like that because now you want to get into that state. Like I want to
Yeah.
be in that fast mode, and it's programmed so that like it's like this progress bar essentially, and as you collect the orbs, the progress bar goes up, but it also is slowly ticking downward. You essentially get more for each orb than you lose for the time between them, but if you don't collect orbs for a while, it'll go back down.
Yeah.
But once you fill it, it stays full, and you only need like one orb every 5 seconds to keep it full. So it won't like keep like making you fast and then slow, fast and slow.
Yeah.
You'll stay fast for at least 5 seconds, or until you get another orb, and then 5 more seconds, and then so on. That feels pretty good.
Yeah, and we have a nice sound effect that goes with it. You get a
Yep.
little sparkle trail, and so I don't know if I don't know if it's the final version of it, right?
Yeah.
But that's something we've had to keep changing.
It's like the feature that we've changed the most for sure.
But it's
Yeah.
still valuable to have it. That's like we work on it enough because we still like the idea that we do want to give you a reason and something to be rewarded for if you're going through it fast.
So it was interesting for me to hear the like story, the progression behind like
Yeah.
a feature in a game. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I watched a video about Stardew Valley the other day where he was showing the different builds he had from like the first prototype all the way up to the thing, and he's like, and that guy's not in there anymore, you know,
Yeah.
or that's why that's there because back in this version I had to fix the design
Yeah.
wasn't right, like you know, it wasn't fleshed out all the way, so that's why that happens now. But no one
Yeah.
would know that unless I told you.
And
Yeah.
You know,
it can make so much, like in hindsight, it's like, oh, why did we not? Of course
Yeah.
we should have been rewarding them and not doing
Yeah.
the other thing. But you don't see it. It's not as easy to see as it is in
No.
hindsight.
When you're making a game, there's like this urge to make it hard enough. Like
Yeah.
you don't want it to be too easy. So there's maybe an unnecessary push to like punish the player whenever possible.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
have
oh
to
well,
be
they should
careful.
just die if that happens,
Yeah.
and then they have to do it again. And then it's like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that is a big thing that and especially with like people who are newer to game dev, that is definitely something I think people struggle with a lot because it's like you see yourself as like a person that's making something that'll challenge a person, right? But at the end of the day, the fun part is from beating it, right?
Right.
So if you got to find ways that it's just challenging enough that beating it feels good, but you still want them to beat it
yeah,
and have fun with it. So taking yourself out of that adversarial developer role
Yeah.
it's hard. It can be hard.
I think about Kirby a lot because when you like, if you actually stop and think about Kirby, like you can't like fall in Kirby because you can fly. So you fly any obstacle, you just fly over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even the enemies, you could just kind of fly over all of them if you wanted to. But the game is still fun because you actually want to attack the enemies and collect their powers and stuff. So like, but it's also pretty easy. At least some of them are.
Yep. And that was a way for them to like allow anyone to play it. That was his original goal with that game.
How many Kirby games were there? I played the original NES. I don't know if it's over there.
I think that's the one made by Sakurai, right?
But
Sakurai made the first three he made the first three.
I played the original, and when I was a kid, the version that we had somehow was in French. Like the whole game was in French.
That's funny.
Jinx.
And we've since lost it. I can't find it. But I just thought it was cool that it was a French version of the game.
Yeah, that is funny. I guess, Kirby, he doesn't make too many sounds, so
Yeah.
it works. But yeah, I played the original Kirby on Game Boy too growing up. I played a lot of Game Boy games growing up. And so I was there. We had Pokemon Red and Blue.
Yep.
Did you play those?
I did. I still play them.
It's funny to think nowadays because like you played Pokemon Red and Blue when it came out. It's
Like, I don't even understand the iteration of Pokemon they're on now. Like I don't know half of the names anymore, but I still know the ones.
Yeah, we're
from
actually
Red and
total
Blue.
opposite ends on that because
Yeah,
I
'cause he
keep
still
up with
plays them
all the.
all.
I play all the modern stuff. I keep up with. I don't know if I can name you all the Pokemon, but I certainly could tell you if it is a Pokemon.
I know Pikachu. That's about it. I don't know. I was like before the whole Pikachu thing. I feel like or the whole Pokemon thing.
That's right.
So like people talk about it, and I'm like, I don't.
You never played them growing up?
No.
Have you ever played a Pokemon game?
Pokemon Go. That's about it.
All right. I mean, there's something there, but it's not quite.
You know what's funny? I've never
walking
played
around-
Pokemon Go.
Never played Pokemon
No,
Go?
because when Pokemon Go came out, I was such like an elitist about it because they didn't have battling either when it first came out.
Yeah.
So I was like, why would I play Pokemon Go when I could just play Pokemon? It's way better. You know what I mean? So I was like, I was a bit snobby about it,
That's funny.
but I still haven't played it.
My wife and I we were driving by the fort
Mm-hmm.
when that was big, when the Pokemon.
Oh yeah, people everywhere.
I was like, is there some kind of event going on? It's like, no, they're all walking like this.
They put a gym there.
And I was like, I took mine out and I was like, there's a gym here. I gotta go. Let's go walk around. I gotta go get that one.
That's
That's
funny.
cool. Yeah, I met the director of the Utica Zoo, and she says there's a Pokemon Go event sometime in April, so
Nice.
That makes sense.
be aware. And then even in the Pokemon World Championships, they do Pokemon Go battles.
Yeah.
It's part of it. It's like the card game, the video game, and then Pokemon Go.
It was an interesting thing when that
Pokemon
came out.
Unite. Yeah.
I have my answer, by the way, now. I have had enough time to
yes.
think
What
about
was the hardest thing
yes.
on your end?
On my end, it was it's definitely the movement, like as a whole, like all of the movement together, because it's a lot of specific logic for certain scenarios. And one of the scenarios that comes to mind is we have these 1 block high holes that you can slide through in the game.
Okay.
And it's challenging to program because you're running fast and you're coming up to this hole in the wall and you press the slide button, but you hit it 1 frame too late, and so instead you bump into the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've lost all your momentum. And when you do that, now you're smashing the slide button because it's like, I missed it, and you're smashing the slide button to try to go in, but you don't have enough momentum now. So instead, your character's just like crouching, standing, leaning up against the wall.
Yeah.
So like I had to write like some specific, probably like not the cleanest code I've ever written, but some specific logic that basically says like there's like a ray cast now. Like, I mean, God, when I started the game, I didn't think I was going to need more than 1 collision shape. But the mouse has like a collision shape and a separate hitbox. And then it has a raycast pointing out from its chest and a raycast pointing out from its head and one that points down at the ground. And I think one that points up from the head. So this thing, I mean, there's so many different collision shapes on this guy. But basically, like if you're running towards a wall and the one at your feet, the raycast at your feet detects no wall, it means there's a hole there that you can slide in.
Yeah.
But the one at your head does detect. So now there's like, similar to how I told you when you walk off a cliff, there's like a little timer. Now I start a little timer that's like, if they hit the slide button in this window of time, just give them back their momentum and let them slide in.
Yeah.
And then it feels a lot better. But it was a pain in the butt to like get that right.
I feel that because I've done a bunch of things in that vein where this was in our 3D game we're working on now.
Nice.
Trying to get the character to go over like curbs and go up and down stairs and stuff like that.
I can't even
and
imagine.
so instead of ray cast, it's like shape cast or something.
Oh yeah, yep.
It's
I know
like a
shape
ray
cast.
cast, but it's in a shape.
Yeah, it's
We've
a shape.
messed with
Those
that.
are
Yeah.
super handy.
So they have one like at their feet at like the knee
Yeah,
level or
you
something,
need
and it
that
detects
stuff.
when there's steps and.
Yep.
Raycasts are a beautiful tool.
We had
Yeah.
we had to use shape casts in block ball because remember we had that problem where block ball is a VR.
It's almost like a Pong type thing.
Yeah, it's like like a one player Pong. It's like a brick breaker game where like you're in a 3-dimensional hallway and there's all these bricks and you're just playing tennis and you're breaking.
I
the
will
blocks.
say, I think that's one of my favorite games that we've ever made.
That
still,
sounds really fun.
It is super fun.
I love it very much.
We need to finish.
That was
We're
our
just not
first-
3D artists. You know, we need if there's any 3D artists listening
Yes,
that
we
wants to
got
help us.
Struck up with
We
the
have no
art.
money, but you can help us, and then maybe we'll make mine.
The art definitely
Yeah.
slows us down though, because
Yeah.
that's the one like thing of the triangle we don't have as much
Yeah.
is the art.
It is a big.
Especially 3D art. What really got us was effects, because we can
Yes.
find free assets for everything pretty much. Like we can work with
Or
what
we could
got.
buy asset packs and stuff.
Yeah.
And you see, I mean, some things do
But
well
like
with those.
effects, those are difficult,
it's
and a
just
lot
hard.
of times engine specific.
Like
And-
particle effects? And,
Yeah, like
yeah.
So like we
And
have
just understanding how to put them in 3D. Like,
so like we have the ball hits the block and then can hit your paddle, but we want effects for those, and just
Right.
even breaking the ground level on that is hard.
Yeah.
And like how to make that good is a whole other thing, and how many effects. Although I will say, Masahiro Sakurai has some videos about how to make good
does.
effects, and they're very helpful.
they are helpful.
He has a lot of amazing videos that I will recommend to anybody listening.
But with the shape cast, sorry, to bring it back.
The shape
The
kits.
the problem is like you have to deal with the fact that since this is a VR game, the human can in theory swing the paddle far faster than the computer can keep up with frame rate and all that. Like I mean, you just throw your hand super fast and then like it has to be like, okay, the paddle moved from here to here, but it's only running at 90 frames a second, so it's like it skipped a frame and then the ball phased through it. So you have to deal with all of that, and we do it with shapecasts. Like we get like previous position and like the movement of the hand and where the hand is gonna be and where it's headed and if that intersects with the ball, and all of that can be done with like shapecasting because you shapecast the ball over to here and then you shapecast the paddle in the direction it's going, and if they cross, then you just give them the hit.
Yeah.
So
Yep. But okay, I will say that scope is important. That's been a big big part of our projects. Like, but it makes your games better a lot of the times, right? The restrictions.
Yeah.
So that's part of the fun of the game jams is you have these restrictions.
Oh yeah.
And it's part of what helped made our game what it is, because we had the limitations of secrets, which introduced this whole secret pathways stuff, which is like the whole core of the game, basically, because, you know, you can go through all sorts of ways. It allows a lot. So one of the things that's really important if you're like a solo developer, right, is you want to maximize your content, right? So one of the best ways is like just having a lot of replayability, right? So people have reasons to keep playing your stuff over and over. And so the secret pathways are a really good way for us to give replayability to the game, right?
yeah, it's one level, but now you can go back and find things you missed.
Yeah, and it gives you a way to explore and just stuff to do.
Yeah.
I mean, and we track how many secrets are in the level and tell you
And
how many you found.
and-
So you know if you have to go get some more, but don't have to scour every inch of the level either. We make them pretty easy to see. Oh, one of the things we're going to do with that sword thing we were talking about is the higher it is, the easier the secret areas are to see. Like
Yeah, we
some
don't
sort of
have it
shimmer.
yet, but like a shimmer effect on the secret areas, like you should get more than just speed for having your, sword filled up. So like,
Yeah, we don't want them to be like the hardest thing in the world to find,
Yeah.
but something that you might not notice the first pass through through the level.
Yeah.
And then some are hidden better than others. Some we want you to find, so they're pretty obvious.
Yep.
But like those limitations help make the game what it is, right? And
sure.
and the speed running thing. That's another way that we got a lot of replayability, because like you
ghosts.
try to beat your time.
Yep.
It makes each level almost like a thing you can explore strategies for. Okay, I'm going to use this pathway or that and jump here and kill this enemy. And
I do enjoy that in games.
yeah.
Replayability and like trying to play through again with like a different, different,
Yeah.
not different outcome, different like goal, basically. Like this time I'm going to go fast, or this time I'm
Yeah.
going to,
I mean, it's really good because it's like we can only make so much, so the more value we can give for the things we make,
yeah.
the better value the player's getting, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that's been fun for all of our projects is to work within those limitations because, like, what you're saying with, like, you were talking about steps and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I could ask Sean to make anything, essentially, right? I say, Sean, we need this and that. And for a platformer, there's infinite things you can do,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And so the slopes is something we've talked about. It's like, Sean, can we put slopes in the game? And we've gone back and forth.
And
like
usually I say, ugh.
He says, ugh, and I'm like, well, do we really need
do we
it? It's like,
need it?
but we really don't need it. Our game's been fun without it, and we don't really plan to put slopes in at this point. And so that's stuff you have to figure out for yourself as you go on.
Yeah.
And because you got to be careful not to prioritize, because we could be just adding 1,000 things to the game, and then you don't
could
even
just have
use half of
elevators.
it. Yeah.
You could just have little platforms that lift you up and just have no stairs in your whole game.
Yeah, so
Nobody would probably even notice.
You got to make some choices.
It depends on the game,
Yeah.
Interesting development story challenge is when our game is one big level, right? And one thing I've been noticed when I went back and played all these older platformers is all these old platformers, like a lot of Nintendo ones, have ways to move you quickly from different parts of the level. Mm-hmm. Mario has their pipes, Kirby has those doorways, and Donkey Kong has the barrels, and that's something we don't have yet. And
it is something we want.
We've talked about like what our version of that would be. Probably like some sort of pipe. I think we have.
Yeah, like a mouse hole.
Like a mouse hole or something.
Oh, that sounds cool.
So that's just an interesting challenge because it's like when I make the levels, I have to think how it all connects together, right? I can't think this is this small segment that's disconnected from this segment. So it's just something I've noticed going back through. Like every game has their solution for it.
Yeah, that brings me to another question about design. Like, how do you go about? Say you're going to design the level.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's been...
Do you draw things out on paper, on a whiteboard?
No, I prefer to just put it in the engine and then just see if it's fun. I mean...
We have it set up so that you can paint with tiles. Yeah. So it's all tileable.
We have a little editor.
It's pretty like... It's almost like drawing on paper.
Sean talks about using graph paper. I think he's
I
only made like...
I only made one level, and it's gone through many revisions at this point. It hardly even...
I think you made the first half of the first level, and then the original tutorial. And most of the tutorial.
Yeah, most of the tutorial's me.
And then... So I've done a lot of the other levels, like all the other levels.
Yeah, you've done all the other levels.
But it is a challenge. It takes a while. It takes longer than you think, especially because... So the way I work through it is I make the main pathway of the level. And then for the length of it, it's really something I don't have set in stone yet. It's kind of just like, this feels long enough. Like, we've challenged you enough. Let's give you the reward of having the level over. And I think it's probably like 2 minutes for a level. Yeah. Average.
If you speed run it and you don't die, but you also don't take any crazy shortcuts, 2 to 3 minutes.
That sounds long for doing it fast. If you're like an average player, it should be like probably 2 minutes.
Well, no, it takes the average player a bit longer because they die a lot.
You probably know more than me. I don't remember the times.
We're not tracking this metric.
We are not tracking this metric. But it's a feeling, essentially, right? You kind of feel... You don't want it to be too short, too long. But so the way it works is, like, I'll just come up with... I think about the characters, what you can do, right? And I think what is fun... What's a fun thing to do, right? So it's fun to jump up a wall in this way, and so I just put that scenario... Mm-hmm. It's almost like thinking of little scenarios... and then stitching them together. Yeah. And so it's like really just coming up with, you think about, it's almost like going through all the permutations, right? So you think, okay, I have the ability to make a room, and then have I ever tried spikes on the ceiling before? How can I make that interesting? Have I ever tried spikes on the floor? What if I had spikes on a wall in the middle or something? You try to think through.
You have that one room in the level where the entire floor is spikes. And you have to jump from these, like, walls. So you have to cross a gap, basically using only wall jumps over a floor of spikes. And that is, like, that's, like, one of your ideas that you wanted to see.
And sometimes I think of it as, like, a skate park almost, where it's like, say you just had a free open area, what would you do on your own just to have fun, right? Yeah. And then try to encourage The way I've heard it is like a hill in a platformer. It's almost like a language. You're trying to provoke a jump from the player, right? So you're thinking about ways you can provoke behaviors in the player that are fun, essentially, right? If that makes any sense. And so the challenge levels, though, we have the challenge levels because that was an outlet to create zones that are disconnected and just on their own. And it was a good outlet for me as a level designer because it's like it can be challenging to do all the things I want to do because I don't want it to be too hard either, right? Yeah. Even the secret areas, I can make it really hard.
Dude.
But so it's like I don't want it to be but I'm the type of player who likes that level because especially after you play it for so long, you get so good that even the regular levels are so easy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it can be hard though. One of the things that speedrunning focus is great for because even if the level is easy to get through, performing the level to get a high time can be tough.
Yes.
Right. So that's something that's really nice about the game. Yep. But as a level designer, the challenge levels give me an outlet to make segmented levels where I don't have to, because it can be challenging to think how to connect it all, because a lot of the levels in the game right now are not just straight horizontal flat things. I try to make sections where you go up and go down a lot, and so you think, okay, what are some good upward challenges now? Because now I have to get the player to go up, and we don't have spring pads yet, so it's all pure like you just try to think what and then you create breaks for the player, easy sections. I have a lot of our levels, even without the secret areas, have upper paths or lower paths, and some are easier, some are harder. There's segments of rewards, so you kind of have to feel that like stress curve a little bit, and so it's a lot to think about.
Are there
ever full package?
Are there ever like say there's an upper path that the player's like, oh, I'm going to try that one. Like they can see they can go down here, but they're going to try that one.
Oh yeah.
Is there ever like a dead end and they have lots going all the way back down?
No, I would never do that to you.
No.
I can't remember the game, but I played a game before where it had lots of different paths, and I was always like, I don't know. If I try that one, I could spend a whole bunch of time, get stuck.
Never.
No, you're pretty much guaranteed. If you go left to right, you're pretty much guaranteed to get to the end of the level.
That's
cool. We try to make the pathway, and I would never put like a dead end. I feel like that's disrespectful to the player's time. If there was a dead end that looked like a dead end, it would probably be there's a secret area there somewhere to get you out of it.
Yeah.
And there's some few areas where there's secret levels within secrets, but yeah. So that's kind of how I go through it, and then I always try to, and you got to think of it as almost like a performance where it starts out interesting, but at the end you always got to have something good at the end, right? So I always try to make the hardest part at the end, and you try to make, I think very consciously about how hard is this part, right? And sometimes when I'm making the level, I'll make a hard part and I'll be like, okay, actually I'll move that to later in the level because I want it's too hard this early kind of thing. And then there's also like the Nintendo type design where you teach, like in Nintendo games, a lot of the times they have a concept for a level and they'll teach it to you very early on in the level and then iterate that idea throughout it. So I think there's some levels where we do that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with the breakable blocks.
Oh yeah, the breakable blocks level is perfect for that. Yeah, at the beginning it's like pretty open. With just open areas, you have to break the blocks, and then we make it harder in different scenarios as you go on through it. And yeah, so that's kind of how we go through the level design of it all.
So it's kind of like bottom up. It's like you come up with the scenarios and the things you want the player to be able to do, and then you kind of put them together. And
yeah. And then I would say each level has a sort of overall theme. Like I've thought of this level as the cave level, so I want to have like lots of spikes, enclosed areas. I think a lot about like which areas should be enclosed versus open.
Yep.
And just that feel of it all.
Yeah, for sure.
And then
checkpoint placement is huge.
That's a big one, yeah, because
we're always iterating on there needs to be a checkpoint before this thing, because I can't go through all of that again just to get back here.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's another thing about like not designing like an adversarial developer, because you can give the player checkpoints more generously than you think is right as a developer.
Yeah.
Because it's like, sure, it's like you want them to feel challenged and prove they can beat the level. But it's like people will drop your game so quick if they get frustrated. The number one thing is you don't want to get players frustrated or they will drop your game.
And the people who, like, if you're dying over and over again on a challenge, the checkpoint should just be right before it. And the reward for the player that struggles is that eventually they get through it. And then for the players that you really want to challenge and who really are up for that challenge are going to practice until they can do that without dying once. And then they get rewarded with their higher speedrun score or their faster time through the level. So it's like everybody gets something.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt that you put a checkpoint there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's been a lot of, and then the challenge levels are great for me because I can go all out on those because I think about like what's
the farthest you can jump.
What's the furthest you can jump? What's like I would never make a challenge in a normal level where you have one tile blocks with spikes on the top and bottom and you have to wall jump over and over and over. But in the challenge levels, I can do that. And I think there are levels that has something like that. And so, but it's fun because once you get good at the game, it's like
the challenge
then you want
also,
something more.
Yeah.
They show you what you can do with the mechanics too. Like you have that one where it's just a hallway of spikes on the ceiling and the floor, and it's not very wide. And you would think that that's not even possible to beat, but he put enemies in the hallway, and every time you slash a flying enemy, you get a tiny little bounce. And so you just like slash, 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 and you like bounce, 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 and you never hit the ground or the ceiling. If you do it wrong and you hit them at the wrong time, then you hit the ceiling and the floor. It's really hard, but I beat that one.
Yes, you did. There's some tough ones, but it's fun. And like I said, as a designer, for level design, they make great outlets because I want to see how far I can challenge the player and see how far.
And you never know. Players will surprise you.
Oh,
they do.
Every time we take this somewhere and somebody plays a challenge level and they beat it, I'm like, oh, so people can do this.
So that was possible.
Yeah, so that was possible.
We'll throw in some impossible levels and then someone will beat it and be like, okay.
Well, and that's part of that is also to help with audience situation because it is fun to do those challenging things and people do want those challenging things, but you can't just put them in the levels because then then the regular players can't beat your levels and they'll get frustrated. But if you have a section that's called challenges, you can make them hard and then people who like the challenges feel accomplished because I beat the challenge.
And it's kind of enticing to see a section that's like, ooh, challenges. Try that.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So it's a good feature. It's been successful so far.
So you're planning on where are you planning on releasing this? Steam?
Definitely Steam.
Probably GOG. I'm a huge fan of, or not a fan of DRM of any kind, and so I really like GOG because they good old games. Because I think by default, like everything that you buy from them doesn't have DRM. Like you get the game. You can move it to another computer. If you get another computer, it doesn't need like some service to be running in the background to like check it, like So it'll probably be there, and it'll be on itch, and it'll be on Steam.
No consoles or anything. That's
not
apparently a
initially
nightmare.
at least. Yeah, so the console stuff it's disappointing because it's like I wish Godot had like first party support for console stuff, but it doesn't seem like they do yet.
I was actually wondering about that the other day.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it. Like there are places out there like you can pay like and they have like a structure. It honestly seems pretty reasonable, but like it's just not something we're looking at right now.
We've talked about a mobile one.
Yeah, I mean it builds for Android.
Every time we show it to someone, they're like, "Oh, it'd be great on the phone," because most people play games on their phones, right? So it's like. It's hard though.
You need a controller.
Yeah, it's like you need a controller. We could put virtual controls, but it would be
awful.
That kind of I don't know.
We'd have to do like a Mario Run type thing where it's just a different game.
Yeah, I mean, we could put it just straight up on there with virtual controls for anyone that really wants to play it that way. But
you could try it.
But for now, we're not planning it too much.
Yeah.
Just get it out there is more the goal.
Seriously, we gotta finish it first.
Yeah, there's a lot to do still.
Yep.
How long have you been working on it?
It's only a little over a year, right? Because it was like this past November, like that whole month would have been exactly 1 year from when we did the game jam. So so it's only been a year plus. So like this upcoming November will be 2 years.
But we go through phases. So it's like there are months where we don't work on it.
Yep.
There's months where we work on a lot.
Yep.
And so it depends, like especially when we have
Depends on
like
my
events
job,
coming
too,
up.
and like
Yeah,
what
he's got two
going
kids.
on, and I got kids,
You
and I get
know?
burned out, or I'm doing something for work that requires me to do stuff like
Yeah.
after hours, like so it's
We
like,
got no one forcing it on us, so it's like we take it at our own pace and we get it out when it's out, and it's fun. We try to keep it fun at least.
I was gonna say if you wanted to get it like on consoles and stuff, the best thing is probably, or the best path is probably like getting a publisher or something and having
really
them, finding one that will actually do that for you.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Just
I was
part
watching
for
some
us.
other like learning videos from, I forget what else he's made, but he's made Choo Choo Charles, and he has a bunch of like indie learning dev videos. And one of the things he says is like you don't need a publisher, except a few situations, and one of the situations is if you're gonna do
Consoles.
console
Yeah.
releases.
Yeah.
So for sure.
sense.
But yeah, I mean that'd be great if we ever get to that point where we have to worry about it.
Seriously. Like, I mean, it's for fun. It's like a hobby, right? Like, I mean, if we end up if we finish when we finish the game and it
Yes.
comes out, I gotta say it
When
say
we
it out
finish
loud.
it.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
we finish the
When.
game and it releases, like, I mean, I have no expectation or idea how well it'll do, but like, if it does do really well, I mean, we can kind of follow the path of other indie games that are similar, where like I think like Stardew Valley didn't come out on console until after it was successful on Steam,
Yeah.
so it's like we could just do something like that, like where like if it was super successful, I could see this playing really well on the Switch. And so sure, I would
Yeah,
love to put it
for
on
sure.
Switch, but it's got to be like super successful first, and I don't know that that's going to happen. So
And we're still struggling a little bit with screen space because we can jump so far
Yeah.
that there'll be times where you can jump when nothing's on the screen. A lot of times I'll put stuff in the air so you can kind of orient yourself where you are, like coins and collectibles. We don't have coins, but essentially coins. Orbs. But so it's like on a smaller device, the screen can become an even bigger problem. But there's stuff we're looking towards.
we have like a minimum resolution that's fun to play,
Yeah.
and below that it becomes challenging to see everything.
There's definitely some more like stuff we can add and stuff that can show you what you might be landing towards. But yes, that's a big struggle sometimes too.
So I was gonna ask about like any business ambitions,
Yeah.
but it sounds like you guys are just kind of taking it, going with the flow,
Yeah.
focusing on completing the game and then seeing where it goes from there, right?
We've talked about what our next games and stuff would be.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's kind of like we'll worry about it when we need to worry about it thing.
Yeah.
No, we've talked to people and they say
We
don't.
talked to Ryan.
They said don't worry about it.
He's like, don't worry about it till you have something to sell. And
Yeah.
I was like, all right, easy enough.
So
That's
Yeah.
what I wanted to hear. I don't want to worry about it right now.
yeah, we at the very beginning we had a thing, didn't
Yeah,
we?
like we were gonna do an LLC, and like I had my brother put something together, but it just became like, it's like, this isn't something my brother does like, for a living or anything, so it became just like
It was just
complicated. I just
messy.
want, like,
And
I
we
just
lived in
wanted
two
to
different
like, we
states.
lived in 2 different states and stuff. I was just like, let's just put a pause on this. And like, and now with Brian at the Thinkubator, it's like I just roll up to the Thinkubator someday, and he said we could do it in like an hour. So it's like,
Yeah.
all right. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, I like the sound of that. So
Yeah.
let's just do that.
Yeah.
Like when the time comes.
We're playing it all by ear kind of thing.
Yeah.
And taking where the wind takes us, which is kind of fun.
Well, it looks really promising. You guys
Thanks.
seem like a really good team.
That's right. We're a strong team. We do good stuff. We have a good
Yes.
eye, and we're fun people, and we love video games.
Yep. That's pretty much it.
Sean's been playing Resident Evil.
Yeah, the new one, Requiem.
I was going to say, what have you guys been
Super
playing
excited.
lately?
I've been playing Kirby Air
If you have
Riders.
time to play games.
Yeah, no, I find time.
I play games in the morning a lot. more
Oh,
than
yeah,
the
'cause you get
evenings.
up early.
I get up early and play games before I go to work. I get up at like 4 in the morning.
Nice.
Go to bed like 9. But yeah, I've been playing Kirby Air Riders like nonstop since it came out.
Oh, nice.
Do you even know what that game is?
No.
it's a sequel to a GameCube Kirby Air Ride game, and
Okay.
it's like a vehicle game. You're Kirby. You can ride on like warp stars and different vehicles. They're kind of like, they don't look like vehicles, a lot of them, but they're like little machines, and you can play as different characters. And it's kind of a game where it's like play it however you want kind of thing. So there's 3 modes. There's like a racing mode, like a top-down racing mode, and then there's like a run around in a big open environment kind of mode and collect stat upgrades.
Nice.
And so I've been playing that. I've been posting in the community. I've actually been getting into some of the speedrunning aspects of it now, specifically the amiibo speedruns, which is like a very niche category, but I'm gonna rule that category. So I that game came out in November 20th, 2025, and I have like I'm in the 400s now
Of hours?
of hours.
Wow.
So I'm playing a lot.
That is pretty good.
Since it came out. My most played game is Smash Bros. Ultimate. That I have 7,000 hours in at this
He's
point.
very good at Smash. He's so good at Smash, it's not fun to play against him.
Yeah, well, yeah, but there's other. But I play online and I'll still lose like I've never played the game before. So I don't feel that good.
I mean, you might be out of practice. I feel
that's
like
true.
Ranking wise, you are like.
I'm not statewide good though, especially Northeast. The Northeast Smash players are one of the best players in the country. Yeah,
I
or in the
like
whole world.
Top you're well above top 50% though. Like
top 50%. Yeah,
Like of like all players.
Yeah.
Like you're like
for
well
sure.
into.
Yeah. I got all the characters in Elite Smash. For anyone that knows, that is my. It's not that crazy, but it's harder than an average player could do.
And didn't you do every combination, or like didn't you do like some mode with none of the support characters or something? You did something.
I did the spirits battles with. Yeah, there's a spirit.
You did
mode.
like some maximum number of possible points that. Like,
yeah, that's like a single player mode.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun, but yes, it was very challenging, and it is hard to do that, for the most part. There's some cheesy strategies, but yes. I've played that game. I've sucked it dry of all of its content essentially, including the amiibo. I won a few $100s off amiibo tournaments in Smash Brothers. In 2022, I was pretty big into that. I'm still active in the Discords for that.
Nice.
So yes, we out here playing games. we playing games.
I play a lot of Mario Kart World too.
Yeah, that's our game together.
Yeah,
that's
when
like
he
our
comes
buddy
over,
game.
we usually play Mario Kart World.
We got
online.
there racing together.
Yeah.
We
Nice.
used to play the old one together. Now we're playing the new one together. And the new one, the new Mario Kart, is amazing.
It really is.
I know a lot of people are like,
Gotta give it a chance.
it really should have been in the Game of the Year categories. But
I don't know about that. Maybe.
I know about that.
No,
I know about that. It's true.
I feel like it can't just because it's a racing game.
The open world is amazing. There's not a lot of stuff to do compared to like AAA open worlds, but just the fact that it's this big open drivable environment is so fun.
Has a racing
worlds.
game ever been Game of the Year?
Probably not. No. But anyway, that's what we've been playing. I feel like I get stuck on games for a while, so it's like I'm stuck on Kirby, and it makes me so stuck that I feel guilty for not having played a lot of other games recently. I'm not like an only Nintendo gamer, right? I play everything, but I do want to play. Nintendo stuff is like my primary stuff, so like I'm missing out on Pokopia right now, and Mario Tennis. I didn't get that one, but I do want to go back and get them. But I've been so absorbed with Kirby. As part of it's because I love Masahiro Sakurai's games in general. And I do encourage anyone to go check out his YouTube channel because he has so many educational videos, especially for like game devs. It's like, I mean, he made the channel because he wanted to make more fun games out there, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of really good info from like, I mean, he's been around since the first Kirby. Yeah. He's made games for the Game Boy, the Nintendo, up to the Switch 2, right? So he's kept with it.
Yeah, I played I don't know if it was the first Kirby or not, but on the NES.
That was the second one, and that one was so impressive.
Okay.
You know, that game came out after the Super Nintendo had already released.
Wow.
It's like way late in the life cycle.
It did seem fairly refined for an NES game.
Yeah,
Like...
I mean, that's why. I think that was a conscious choice because it was like, we know this hardware so well.
It was like they squeezed every little bit out of that hardware for that game.
And that's how even since the beginning, they've been doing some... That was the first game with copy abilities, too. The original Kirby just sucked up and spit out enemies, but that was the first one because they wanted to offer... So the people who had played the first game, they already know what to do. So it was like a way to give people who already played the first one more skill expression, essentially.
As would.
Yes, I got all the Kirby trivia.
So is there anything that you guys would say like to other indie devs, like advice or
I would say
to watch out for? Or
well, we talked about being an adversarial developer.
Yeah,
that's a big one, and that's a big one. That's an easy one to fall into. You always kind of have to be conscious of, and just think about like if I was playing this game, what would make me feel good, right?
And you're going to play your game. So you're going to know, like, if you're getting frustrated while you're playing your game, then you might need to change something.
Yep. You're always going to be better at your game than you think other people will be, for the most part. Like, if you think something's hard enough or just right, it's probably too hard, right? Or, like, a little bit hard.
Yeah, if you think it's easy, it might be the right amount.
Easy might be good. Always err on the side of caution.
And it depends exactly. You got to watch people play your game.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
I know,
really
like,
QA test.
you said you do a lot of the, like, character movements and stuff, and and you probably know, like, when you're, because I do a lot of that too.
Yeah.
You get so when you're so used to the down to the lowest level.
Yeah.
Like what's happening when they're like moving that character, that when you play test it, you're like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, because you know what's happening.
You hand it off to someone and they're like, I don't know how to make it like move sideways. I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like, right, because you don't know how I wrote the code. It's like, yeah, no, it really does make a difference. It's crazy, and I've noticed the same thing. Like when you've written the code, like it almost becomes like, it almost unlocks some ability to do like frame perfect things, like that you should, that no normal person would take like time to practice, but because you wrote the code, you just know when to push the button. Like you know, like I have to push it now. Like I know this frame of the animation because I spent like an hour like moving it or like tweaking it. Like so, yeah.
And then I would say one of the most important things is scoping your game, because it is so, like, you always should go way, way lower than you think. Yeah. Because you would not believe how fast scope will creep up on you. And that was something even in college we had to be very aware of, because you can make something fun and more engaging even if it's simple too. So there's always more you can do even with a simple project.
They do.
So, and
sometimes less is more.
Yeah, and like the restrictions make a better game a lot of the times. So otherwise you have too many choices, and then it becomes hard to develop it. You have too many ideas.
Put some guardrails, put some restrictions up like early on,
and that's especially
you'll thank yourself later for it.
Especially for the new developers, that's always something they struggle with, because you just don't know how hard things are to do. Yeah. But things are, and especially in the art department, you got to be really careful, because it's just hard. There's a lot more than you ever think. It goes deeper. All the little. Sometimes I'll think, oh, Sean could just put this thing in the game, and then he's like,
I'll be like, dude, this is a lot harder than you think it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to explain to him, like, this means I have to add this thing, and this means we need to change this.
Yep.
And like, but then some things that sound hard are actually a lot easier than you think. Like at one point in developing the game, we decided we were going to change the resolution of everything, and so we had to like. Did we double or half the resolution? I think we doubled the resolution of all the assets.
Yeah, we did.
Like we started with like these low res assets, but we wanted to get more detail in the pixel art. And it's like, well, if we just double everything. And it was a little bit more than I expected, but it still was actually pretty straightforward. You have to double everything. You double all the sizes of everything, you double all the speeds, you double all the frictions, you double everything. No. And then it's just now you can put more detail in the art. And it actually wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I would say another big one is to remember as like your North Star, like what the overall like theme or goal of the game in this essentially is, right? So our game is essentially about platforming and precision platforming, and like giving a sense of like time, like a fast pacedness, I guess you would say. And so that if you ever just struggling with a decision, it's like, okay, well, does that make sense with what the overall point of the game even is? So that's why we have like the timer thing, and
like for example, like at one point we were gonna have, you know how you have those games where like you have all these branching paths and they're like roguelike and you get farther and farther towards a boss, but you usually die a bunch on the way and have to start over, and then you slowly unlock new power-ups. It's like at one point we were thinking about adding something like that, or like maybe one of the levels is just a chill area where you can buy a power-up, but then it's like, hold on a second, like the messenger mouse can already do all of their movements right out of the gate. So it's like, are we talking about taking away abilities? Like, are we taking double jump away, and now that's something you have to unlock? And then it's like, well, that's not as fun because our game's all about movement and precision platforming. So it was just like, it just doesn't help the game, so we're not going to do that. So.
Yeah. Yep. So that'll help you a lot if you're just... It just helps everything. You know, it gives you direction, right? You need to have that. And, you know, try to make your... You don't have... I mean, we're making a platforming game, So it is very derivative, right, of other genres and games. But you always should try to make something that's interesting about, at least have something that is like, this is something interesting about our game that maybe is, just never been done before and done in this way, And so that'll help inform your decision making in struggling times for sure. Especially in like team debates, because like we said, you can add anything to the game. So you gotta know what's right to add to your game.
Yeah. All right. Where can people find you? Website? Do you have?
We do.
We have TroyStoryGames.com. We've done some light marketing.
Very light.
We got some blogs out.
We got we got a little post about how ghost races work, and I have some code in there that shows how, like in Godot, we actually implemented ghost races by tracking the position and recording that in like a custom binary format, and then replaying that back. That's all there on our website.
Yeah, we got a developer blog about the challenge levels. We have links to all of our other games because we have an itch page for our stuff.
Awesome.
Itch page is where you can find all of our stuff.
And that's linked from TroyStoryGames.com. So you just go to TroyStoryGames.com and it gets you everywhere else.
And we have a Twitter or an X account.
Whatever it's called now.
We have Blue Sky.
We have a Blue Sky.
Blue Sky, X, Facebook.
Yes, Facebook.
Instagram, but we don't post there really.
Instagram, but we don't post there.
Awesome.
We're around.
You can find us on our website, and that'll get you.
And there's various stickers around Utica. You might you can find it.
Yeah, maybe. I'll get you stickers if you want. Stickers.
Look around. You might see one. But yes, that is where we are.
Yep.
And we're here.
Cool.
Yep. And thank you.
Well, thanks for coming in, talking about your game, talking about indie game dev.
Yeah,
yes,
thank you.
Anytime.
Thanks for having us.
It's an honor to be here, Adrian, especially on your first episode.